All right, so Fresh and Fit seems to believe that Rumble is the bastion of free speech in America, not realizing that Rumble, much like YouTube, is a for-profit corporation who eventually will want to make more money so they can continue to compete in the market. Making more money for a video sharing platform usually means attracting more advertisers. So in due time, Fresh and Fit will also be limited or banned by Rumble too, just like they've been demonetized by YouTube and they've been suspended a couple times on Twitch. So it's just interesting to me, for a podcast that talks so much about business, they don't seem to understand this. I mean, they seem to have this whole loyalty thing. We know the CEO and we talk to him, so we know that Rumble is Rumble is a business. They're going to have to continue to compete with YouTube and other video sharing platforms. They're going to want more advertisers. Those advertisers do not want their ads running on content like yours, where you're saying all these slurs towards groups of people, whether it be women or what have you. So that's just simple math. But I think the Fresh and Fit saga has been really interesting. I'm sure a lot of people watch them. It's kind of like a Jerry Springer type of thing. It's not really something where you go to get, knowledge. It's more just like, ECW. You just want to see a dude get put through a flaming table. We don't want to see actual amateur wrestling. We want to see a dude get put through 2 flaming tables, period. But I think pretty much, even if you are a fan of their content, you can kind of see the hypocrisy that they talk about pretty much every single podcast. These are people who critique women super heavily, but then they make money off of women on their platform. The women are basically the backbone of the platform, because no one really watches the shows as much as they watch the actual show with the women that they do at night. These are guys, hypocrites. They critique Black Americans for being lazy, slow, stupid. I mean, these guys are not Black American. They're Sudanese and Barbadian. But when you go to Sudan and you go to Barbados, I mean, are those people doing that much better, if not better at all, than Black Americans? I don't know. It's interesting the smoke that they have for us here as Americans, but not, for their own people. But, that's neither here nor there. These are guys, hypocrites, who make fun of gay men. They have all these jokes for gay men, slurs. They make fun of gays when one of them has pictures kissing and in bed with an openly gay man. I mean, is this deflection? I don't know. This is fact stuff.
Facts.
Everything I'm saying is facts.
Facts.
These are guys who critique Jewish people so much. And I think the Jewish critique is just so lazy. When people just blame Jews for everything. Judaism is a religion. Anyone can be a Jew. If I start studying Judaism, read the Torah, I can become a Jew. You can become a Jew, an Asian person, a person from Nigeria, a person from Israel, from Palestine. Anyone can become a Jew. So just blaming Jewish people for your issues. If you're going to make these such hard accusations on a group of people, you should probably really specify exactly who you're talking about. Hypocrites, they critique Jewish people, but here they are going crazy, complaining about being kicked off their platforms, doing all these appeals, begging to get back on these same Jewish people's platforms. I mean, Emmett Shear, isn't he the founder of Twitch? Isn't he Jewish? I mean, I don't know. Isn't Twitch a platform that they try to stream on nowadays? I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong. The thing is, their bad behavior reflects on everyone. All these bad things they've done, from the KKK hoodies to the Nazi salutes and all this crazy shock value stuff, it reflects bad on everyone, including their staff. And I don't think this is something the staff really thinks about, especially like the girlfriend, the staff, I forget the staff name. Like, they're all going to have to answer to this, because even though their views might not reflect what Fresh and Fit believes, they're adjacent to them. So even though they might have different beliefs and they might actually disagree with Fresh and Fit on some things, them working for them and being friends with them and being in relationships with them, it's reflective upon them. It's like if you have someone like Diddy or Harvey Weinstein or Epstein, and you have like, let's say Epstein's personal assistant or Epstein's chef or Epstein's personal trainer or Epstein's wife. You're gonna look at them like they've done something wrong also, because did you know about this? How much did you know? Did you help? Do you agree with this stuff? Why are you with them? How did you not see anything? Why did you not leave? And I'm not calling Fresh and Fit Epstein or Harvey Weinstein, but it's just an example of someone who is very controversial and how their controversial views reflect on everyone that's surrounding around them. Look at Diddy and Young Miami. Young Miami was recently seen being asked to sign a bottle of baby oil.
Miami, would you sign this?
No.
Oh, bro, you playing.
Go ahead.
Please.
Go ahead, bro.
Which is crazy. We don't know if she's done anything or not. We haven't seen the discovery, the lawsuits and all that. Everything bad that Diddy's done is now being reflected on her, and people are looking at her with a weird eye, and she's had to come out and separate herself from the situation. And I think that's what we're going to see as like the Fresh and Fit thing winds down. Sure, people want to be around them now because they have the status, they're popular guys, they can walk around Miami and be noticed. But as that's winding down, which it has been winding down, I think they're going to begin to distance themselves from the podcast, from that group of people being Fresh and Fit, and from their ideological views. They're going to make a statement. This is what I believe. I never believed these things. I think that's what we're going to see happen. Because I don't think the Fresh and Fit guys, I don't think they realize all the negative things they say about other people and groups of people and demographics, nationalities. It's reflected on their girlfriends. It's reflected on their employees. It's reflected on everybody, not just you. And I don't even think those people realize that yet fully. Their biggest screw up was having Nick Fuentes on the podcast. If you don't know who Nick Fuentes is, I mean, you really don't know. He's been banned from a lot of platforms for a while now, but he's basically the modern day version of a eugenicist. The eugenics back in the 1800s, where people thought there were scientific differences in the brain size of the race, which leads to racial inferiority and superiority, and this is why race mixing is bad.
But I want my race, the master race, to live forever. If you want to die, then go ahead.
Eugenics. Nick Fuentes is pretty much like the modern day version of that. It's just shock value. It's not really something that I think anyone who's an adult watches. The people who are most influenced by him, I think, are like 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old kids, boys who are in their rebellious stage. And he's actually similar to Fresh and Fit in that it's just shock value. Everything is shock value. But yeah, right after they had this Nick Fuentes guy on their podcast, they were demonetized. And ever since that demonetization, everything has been downhill. You can't play in YouTube's face like this. YouTube's looking at it like, hey, we barely even support you guys as Fresh and Fit's content. We tolerate you because you get us a lot of ad money. You get us a lot of super chat money. We'll keep you around. We'll give you warnings here and there. We'll keep you around. But then to just go and play in YouTube's face like this and have someone on who they banned for a very specific reason, and you're going to have him on your platform and re-platform him, it's like they didn't ban Fresh and Fit. They demonetized him. But at that point, you're asking to be banned. Fresh and Fit, they've made it to where they won't be able to work regular jobs. You know, if this whole YouTube thing doesn't work out, you know, because the podcast, it's a very high quality, high production value podcast. I assume it has a lot of overhead. They have a specific space that I would assume they either bought or rent out to perform the podcast. They used to do it in their apartment, but even their apartment doesn't want them there anymore. The apartment said, hey, we can't be doing this. The apartment doesn't even want to be associated with them, man. So think about that. If none of this works out and they have to go back to being, you know, a regular 9-to-5 person, I don't even know if they'll be able to go back to work regular jobs just because of how far in extreme they push things. You know, one of the guys on the podcast, Myron, he mentions how he used to work in law enforcement. There's no way law enforcement will ever accept him back based on the things that he said, things that he's done on camera. They'll never accept him back. So you guys thought it was bad when the guy from Cosby Show, remember when the guy from Cosby Show was seen working at Trader Joe's and everyone made fun of him? Think about what would happen if people started seeing Fresh and Fit working at these regular jobs. They put themselves in a very precarious position where they didn't need to be in that situation. They could have still done the red pill stuff. They could have still done the pro-men stuff without slandering races, nationalities, genders, without doing all this Nazism and cringy stuff that they've done. They didn't have to go that far. So yeah, man, it's a podcast, you know, Fresh and Fit, they claim they're keeping it real. We're getting banned from everywhere because we're keeping it real. Nobody wants to support free speech. We're just keeping it real. You're not keeping it real. You're just offending people for shock value. I mean, it's YouTube and it works. Controversy works on YouTube, but they'll pass it off as, oh, we're keeping it real. We're keeping it real, and no one wants us to say the truth. Rumble is the last bastion of free speech. Rumble's going to eventually put a leash on you as well. Trust me, it's just how business works. Nobody wants to be associated with the type of content that you do. And even if they wanted to switch up their content or go solo, they've already poisoned their image so much that even if they go and do a whole separate type of YouTube channel where they don't even talk about men and women and relationships, there's going to be so much reports. There's going to be so much negativity surrounding them. I don't know who wants to be associated with that from a business standpoint. Like, for instance, in one of my recent videos I've done about Kamala Harris, like YouTube has rules, and you can't just do all this shock value stuff and re-platform people that YouTube has already deplatformed, mocking YouTube, basically flipping the finger to YouTube, spitting in their face, basically saying we can do whatever we want because we're popular. You can't do that. You just can't violate the terms of service. Like, for instance, I had a video that I'd done recently about Kamala Harris, and in that I mentioned things about the Russia and Ukraine conflict that's going on, and I just removed it because YouTube on the Google AdSense page, they have a very bright warning saying any disinformation about Russia and Ukraine conflict will result in demonetization. And it's really up to YouTube's discretion what they deem misinformation. Being on YouTube is not a right, it's a privilege. So I just chose to clip that part out of my video, even though I don't think I said any misinformation. I just don't want to play around with that. I don't want to violate the rules. Fresh and Fit though, they don't care. That's just been a glorious downfall because their arrogance has actually created hatred within their own fan base. Like, if you read their chat and read their comments, there are fans, like people who actually watch the show religiously, who hate them. And this is something you'll see. There will be people who actually hate you and strongly dislike you, but they watch a lot of your videos, they comment on a lot of your videos. And I think a lot of Fresh and Fit's audience has turned that way, which is not good. And I actually think DJ Academics is he's heading a little bit in that direction. Not as far as Fresh and Fit is, but he's kind of heading into that. Especially, he just did a video about his $2 million car collection and all this. People will begin to envy you. Like, I don't think it's a good idea for content creators, especially YouTubers at this point, to like floss like that. And this is kind of a side point because it creates envy. We already know you make money, but I just don't think it's a good idea to create hatred within your own fan base. So yeah, Fresh and Fit is already at that point, and I think they'll be completely disbanded within a year. I think the Fresh and Fit podcast will be completely disbanded within 1 year. I'll give them to December, end of December next year, 2025. So yeah, the whole red pill space is kind of coming to a screeching halt. I would say out of all the red pill personalities, Kevin Samuels at least had a point, even though I disagreed with him on a lot. Kevin Samuels' point was, regular people should be with regular people. If you're a guy who works a regular job, you're working at Kroger and you do DoorDash on the side, stop talking about how women these days don't have this, don't have that. You need a supermodel, you need her to cook, clean, do this. Bro, you're a regular dude, you get a regular girl. And the same with women. Women, you're a regular chick, run of the mill, stop expecting a 6-figure, 7-figure earner, 7 feet tall, all this. Regular people get with regular people, get together, create black families, and let's keep this whole black community going. That was Kevin Samuels' whole point of his podcast. Even though he deviated from it at times, that was his whole point. Black people get with black people, stop trying to be all uppity and bougie, and just create black families so we can keep this thing going. I don't think Fresh and Fit has a point like that's productive like that. They claim their point is to uplift men, but then they go and charge these same men that they're claiming to uplift $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 for yacht parties, with the same yacht parties that have the same OnlyFans girls who they say are toxic. Yeah, that's part of their selling point. There are girls here, and then the girls are OnlyFans models, but the OnlyFans models are supposed to be useless according to you, and it's just a complete mess. I doubt anyone really watches the Fresh and Fits, like their other shows they have, the Money Monday, the crypto stuff. I don't think people really watch those. People watch for the Jerry Springer. Yell at some girls, kick some girls out, put one of them through a flaming table, chair shot to the head, all that stuff. That's why people watch it. How much time y'all give Fresh and Fit? I say again, I give them within a year. Well, I'll give them a year and 2 months. By the end of December next year, December 2025, I think the entire Fresh and Fit podcast will be completely disbanded. A lot of that staff is going to splinter off And some of that staff is going to have a lot of explaining to do. They're going to have to try to rebrand, and they're going to have a lot of explaining to do on why they were complicit in all the hatred and slander that Fresh and Fit spewed over all those years. Start thinking of your reasons right now, because this is coming to an end. Anyway, that's all I got for today. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Top5repwebsite.com. Peace.